It is said that in the end, death comes for us all. But even death needs a helping hand from time to time. I mean, have you seen how many people are crawling around on this rock lately? Poor old Reaper has a lot on his bony hands. That's where we come in. In today's game, Death Coming. Let's see just how it feels to do some soul harvesting of our own, shall we? Oh, and also, in the interest of full disclosure, as you may know, the Epic Game Store has a deal where they give away a game for free every week. Sometimes more than one, sometimes more than once a week, but at least one game per week. And as you can imagine, for someone with a show called Low Budget Gaming, I take advantage of that deal quite often. And Death Coming is one such game that I got via this method. But I won't be letting that factor into the review, however. If a game is still shit, I'll still call it out for being shit. Now then, info coming on Death Coming.
Death Coming kicks off with a surprisingly colorful and vibrant opening depicting some poor sod getting hit by a car, which apparently causes so much pain that he shouts in 5 languages at once.
I mean, I can't really judge. I've never been hit with a car myself, so as far as I know, this is completely accurate.
Unfortunately, after experiencing this brief multilingual euphoria, the no-name pedestrian kicks the bucket.
I feel that we've just told a deeper story in the past 30 seconds than any AAA game in recent memory could hope to do in as many hours.
The old Grim Reaper appears to this unlucky soul and, being the enterprising sort, hires him on as an assistant. We control the newly crowned Death Jr., complete with the appropriate uniform. And holy shit, we look freaking adorable in the process. From there, we go straight into Act 0, which serves as a tutorial for the mechanics of the game.
If you've seen the Final Destination movies, first off, I'm sorry. Secondly, you'll know pretty much exactly what you're getting into here.
Scattered throughout the playfield in each act are dozens of death traps just waiting to be found and triggered. To do so, you click on a trap once to make it active, indicated by the red aura around it, and click it again to actually spring it. If you're having trouble finding a trap, you can click the hint button in the lower right to see all the traps in the act, with those that haven't been found yet shown in silhouette, which helps for the most part, but I do think the game could have benefited from some slight additional help, like unlockable clues or something similar.
So as you can see, Death Coming is pretty much just a hidden object game. Only much, much deadlier. Which of course makes it all the more enjoyable. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Seriously though, it is immensely satisfying to find each of the traps, figure out how they work, and work out just the right way of utilizing them to rack up the maximum amount of souls, yielding the highest combo you can to get that giant score multiplier. As such, patience is very much your friend in this game. It would behoove you to take some time at the start of each act to just wait and watch, learning the behavior patterns of all the people in the level and formulating a game plan. And another thing I like is that people will often pass within the range of multiple traps, and many of them can be triggered multiple times, so making a mistake with one trap isn't necessarily fatal. Pun intended. Each act has 2 goals to bear in mind, although one seems to take more precedence over the other. There are 3 people in every act that the Reaper particularly wants you to kill. The game makes them sound like an important factor in clearing the level, but in truth I don't think they're actually required to succeed, since I passed Act 6 with only 2 of the 3 key figures dead, mainly because the other ones seem to require every single other person on the island to be dead before you can get to her, and I had to move on for time reasons so I could get the script written. As a result, I also don't know if there's some bonus you can get for killing all the key figures. No, the main goal you want to worry about is this bar right here, showing the number of people you need to kill to gain trophies. Now obviously the better you are at setting off the death traps at the right moment, the more trophies you'll get. But as far as end level requirements go, the bronze number is the one you want to keep an eye on, since as soon as you meet that quota, you'll be able to move on to the next act whenever you want.
And as far as basic gameplay mechanics go, that's really all there is to it. Play through the game's 6 main acts, find all the death traps, and harvest as many souls as you can. But don't take that to mean that the game gets stale. Far from it. Each successive act of Death Coming introduces some new feature which adds a unique spin on the formula and keeps your experience fresh throughout your time with it.
Act 2, for instance, brings in two major changes to the status quo. First, it introduces the idea of traps that might take more than a single click before they can be activated. Some may need something else to be triggered first, although many will have a guard stationed on them, and the trap can't be activated until the guard is eliminated or otherwise gotten out of the way. Although, how exactly these mere mortal humans can impede someone who is basically the literal embodiment of death is never quite explained. The second change is the Angel Police. After getting a certain amount of kills racked up, guardian angels will start appearing and patrolling the level, with more appearing as you reach certain kill thresholds. The angels can't be killed, but they can, however, cause a massive headache for you, since if they spot you, in other words, if their flashlights pass over a death trap while you have it active, they'll arrest you and cause you to lose 1 heart. Lose 3 hearts, and you'll have to start the act all over. Each act takes place in a vastly different environment from the last, many of which have their own little mini-story going on.
There are also a couple of bonus levels to break up the gameplay of the main acts that are nice and short, but still just as much fun as the rest of the game.
Now, of course, if you know me, you know I can't get through a video without griping about something, and I do have a couple of complaints with Death Coming. For one thing, there have been plenty of instances when I've triggered a death trap while a person was in the projected target zone, but instead of getting killed, they just get spooked, if they were affected at all. Also, most of the traps will have some kind of description on them that will often serve as a clue to what it does or how it needs to be triggered, but they can sometimes be misleading. For instance, here in Act 4, one of the key figures you need to kill is this guy, the owner of a ski lift. There's a lever on the building that stops the lift, and when you click on it, it says frequent use can damage the lever. So I naturally thought I just had to keep flipping the lever over and over until it broke, and that would somehow make the target available to kill. But nah, it turns out all you need to do is just wait for someone to ride the lift and then stop it when it's above the key target, and click the lift chair to drop the rider onto the target.
Those minor gripes aside, Death Coming is easily one of the most enjoyable games I've played for this show. It does a perfect job of escalating the challenge just right, and there's plenty of playtime to be had. My total time was around 4 hours, but that was from clearing the acts just 1 time each, since I was playing it for a review, I was on a bit of a time crunch. You'll more than likely sink a few more hours into it out of a sheer feeling of just one more time to try and master those levels and get a higher score. There's also a 7th act you can unlock, which I'm not going to tell you about. You'll just have to experience that one for yourself. Now, if you'll excuse me for just a second, I've got some slight business I need to attend to. I shouldn't be too long. Just hang tight for a second. I'll be right back. Hey, just hang on.
Greetings, mortals. It is I, the Grim Reaper, the harbinger of death. Enjoying the video so far? I hope so. Say, that's a nice ceiling fan you've got there. Be a shame if someone just poked it too hard, made it come crashing down on your fragile skull. What's that you say? You're outside, enjoying the weather. You sure there's not a storm coming? You know, lightning's pretty unpredictable. No telling where it might strike. Maybe right where you're standing. Have I made my point yet? If I haven't, allow me to drive it home. I am death, and I am watching. I'm always watching, and you will never escape my grasp.
Excuse me? What the hell are you doing on my set?
Oh shit. Go check out my game, it's pretty neat. Okay, next, bye.
Damn it, he did it again! Look, I'll find him and get him sorted out later. In the meantime, come back next week when we take a look at Zort Nemesis. often considered to be one of the worst of the Zork games, in which Captain Picard meets his clone, who's actually the praetor of the Romulan Empire. Wrong Nemesis? Oh, no. I get it mixed up sometimes. No. Zork Nemesis was actually created to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Zork series, in which the 7th Doctor and Ace face off against Cybermen and neo-Nazis to gain control of a living statuette. Still wrong. Now, well, we'll get it sorted out next week. Don't worry about it. Now, where's that phony son of a bitch?